how to. One thing that not enough people talk about regarding the PhD is mental health. Doing a PhD is a lot. It's so a lot. As such, you need to take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of your mind, you can't do the things that require the mind, which is basically a lot of what the PhD is. When you're going to university as a PhD student, there are well-being services they advertise. They have the counseling. It's limited. It's like a few sessions. If you're in the UK, like I am, there are free resources for mental health, but it's very difficult to get through them. I have gone through the university's counseling program. It was fine. My counselor was really nice, but the problem is that it's very limited. And so it's kind of like, oh, you can be struggling, but only for 5 sessions, or then you need to be fixed within 5 sessions. And so, or whatever the amount is, I don't know if it's 5, but it's not long term. I've gone through other avenues where they've had like free text messaging services, or you can apply to be seen. I applied and never heard back. So, yeah, I currently am seeing a therapist now, which I had to go through another avenue, which I have to pay for it. And that even was extremely hard to get an appointment with. If people are interested more in a mental health PhD specific video, I can get into the details of what those companies were or those resources were, what went wrong and what went right and what is going right. But for now, I'm going to focus on the topic at hand, which is the how to write an academic conference paper. I did want to throw that in there at the top of the video because PhD and mental health needs to be discussed a lot more because we're going crazy out here. So if we're talking about how to write an academic conference paper, I do have to mention that when I first started, I did not realize that it was called a paper, because I thought, oh, that's a presentation, you're giving a speech. But then people would say it's a paper. But I thought that meant like, oh, a paper writing. No, it means when people say an academic paper, they mean typically you're delivering a presentation, but they just call it a paper. It's been a year now that I've been in my program, and I remember I was so nervous to deliver a paper. I got lucky into where I started small and started going longer. I started with a pechakucha. If you don't know what a pechakucha is, it's basically when a presenter has to deliver 20 slides within 20 seconds of commentary on each slide. I got that from Google. But it's very structured and it's very fast. And so I think mine was 5 minutes. Or 10. It was something very short, but it was still nerve-wracking. And I delivered that on Zoom. And then I got into my first conference, which was also on Zoom, delivered a paper that I believe was 10 minutes. Had my supervisor look over the slides and what I wrote. She gave feedback. Severely nervous. And then I also had to chair a panel, which was like freaking me out. But I did it and it went well and it was fine. So yeah, chairing a panel is like another thing that you may end up doing when you're delivering a paper, because they need bodies to kind of guide the other sessions. And then I did my first in-person conference, which was a 15-minute paper. And that one was a whole nother set of nerves because, yeah, I had to travel to get there. I had to wait my turn and let all the nerves build up. But it ended up being fine. And it was so lovely. Like, I had an amazing time. It was a horror conference. So to me, like, going to horror conferences are just like going to Disneyland, because you're surrounded by everybody doing papers on horror and different subjects. And so yes, 15 minutes in person, learned how to do that. After that, I did a 20-minute paper on Zoom. That one was, again, like a little nerve-wracking because it gets longer and longer, but I also had a blast on that one, another horror conference. Right now, and the reason why I decided to do this video is because I'm doing a 40-minute conference paper, and that's a whole nother crazy feeling, because I'm just like, 40 minutes just seems so daunting to me. Like, you're talking for a long time. I'm worried that like I don't want to bore people. I want to know that like what I'm saying is interesting, because that's a lot of time to be on the computer. My paper is supposed to be 40 minutes, and I just practiced just before this video, and it turned out to be 45, which is not bad. I was thinking it would be either way too long or like a hair short, but I included some video clips, so that kind of like messed with my estimation. Enough about me and my origin story of academic papers. How do you write an academic conference paper? Well, so the first thing is that you have to apply to get in, and you have to write basically an abstract summing up like what your paper is going to be about and how it fits into the conference. And after you do the abstract, you submit it, you hear back, you got in, hooray! And now you gotta write the damn thing. Let's give an example for, let's say you have to deliver a paper that's 10 minutes long. Well, I just Google how many words is a 10-minute speech. That's what my supervisor told me. And it works really well. Like, it'll tell you the words, so then you start writing the thing, and then once that's ready, you can practice it. Make sure you speak it out loud and not whispering in your room or anything. You really got to speak like you're speaking at the conference in front of people. When you're happy with everything, you transfer it onto slides. Some people use PowerPoint, but I like using Canva because it's prettier, and you can do like all these effects and make it look cool and upload videos on there. I just think it's more my vibe, but like it's really up to what you're comfortable with. Just practice and practice and practice and practice. And if you want, you can practice in front of a friend or a family member to kind of help you get feedback or see how your nerves, like to help you with your nerves basically. And actually right before this, when I was Googling some other like tips for myself, I found a page that said that you should practice your presentation at least 10 times. Apparently 10 times is like the magic number. So I guess I'm going to try and do that. And then once you deliver the conference paper, you can sit back and enjoy your peers delivering their conference paper. You don't have to be stressed anymore. If you're about to do a conference paper for the first time, just know that it gets easier every time, but then it also like gets harder. So I remember a year ago, I was like, oh my God, 10-minute conference paper. I can't imagine like what it's gonna be like. But now I'm just like, now I'm doing my 40-minute one, and I'm freaking out about that now. So, but who knows, maybe next time I'm gonna have to deliver an hour and then 2 hours. I'm just saying it's gonna be okay. At the end of the day, as we circle back to the mental health issue, you're gonna be okay, and just breathe and practice, and you'll be proud of yourself once you do it. That's all for today. That was my little spiel on how to do conference paper, because I was doing that today and just wanted to share some little nuggets. But yeah, if there's anything in particular that you guys want to know about doing a PhD, let me know again down there. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day or night.